The mic was muted. Hey, girl, hey. Good morning. Good Maven morning. If you don't know me, my name's Olivia Denton Thomas, the brand counselor, and I'm excited to be here with you. After a couple of technical difficulties, after trying to figure some things out, I am actually here this beautiful Wednesday morning. Um, so, one of the things that happened this week is talking to my son about winning versus being a winner. And it made me think about the phrase, you have to play to win, not play not to lose, instead of playing not to lose. And I wonder how many of us are actually playing not to lose versus playing to win. And like, do we know the difference between playing not to lose and not playing to win? And playing not to lose is showing up, right? Showing up in hopes that showing up is enough. You're there. Maybe the other team is bad. Maybe the other resources that person is looking at just aren't really meeting their needs or whatever. You're showing up pretty much not to get fined, right? And and that's it. Maybe you're naturally skilled. So when you like come into a place, it's not actually hard to win. You get there, you do the things that you naturally do, the things that are kind of innate to you. Like, I don't know, when I hear these stories all the time where it's like, "Oh, I used to be able to just sit and listen and I would get A's. I would be in class and or I would show up to work and I just like understood what they needed instantly, immediately." But then you move into a different position, or you move into a different phase, right? Like maybe you're no longer in the office, maybe now you were on your own, in your own business, or you're not in high school anymore. Now you're in college, right? And you're so used to, which is a crazy conversation to have because I can't believe my baby's going to college. But you're so used to things coming relatively easy to you that by the time you actually have to put in effort and like maintain the effort, you don't really know what to do because you've never actually practiced doing something, right? So when you practice and you learn how to utilize your resources, when you figure out how to set up systems and strategies, that's what makes you a winner. If you come in without a strategy, if you come in without any idea of what you're supposed to be doing, like of course you can win, right? Because sometimes other people lose. Sometimes you show up as what is needed for the moment. And sometimes you have to figure out where to show up to add to be what is needed for the moment. So like it's not impossible to win without effort, but it is necessary to put in effort to win so you can actually be a winner. It is a mindset, right? And sometimes even being a winner, someone who does put in the work, someone who is actually positioning themselves appropriately, someone who is, trying to figure out who's on their team and how to play well with each individual person, sometimes you still might lose, right? But even in losing, especially in losing. So losing is actually one of the best things you can experience because it reveals your gaps. It tells you the places where you need to do more, you need to think more, you need to possibly put in different parameters or get partnership to fill in the gaps. I was speaking to an old client about an old process, and she was telling me exactly what didn't work. And I think there was a time, no, there definitely was a time before when hearing what didn't work would have freaked me all the way out. It would have made me question my worthiness. It would have made me question whether or not I'm even supposed to do the thing that I'm supposed to do because it didn't come naturally to me, right? Like there was a period where so many things came naturally, and it seemed like so many things were supposed to come naturally, right? Because when you're growing up, in so many different circumstances. People tend to praise you for what you can kind of automatically do. And then they get upset with you for the things that you don't know, with the phrase like, you should have known better. That is one of my least favorite phrases because why? should you have known better? If all we're doing all the time is like learning and growing and figuring out what the next step is, or even how to like accomplish the next step, or even how to look at the next step, there's really no reason to know better. Like we've all only been alive this one time, unless somebody has a secret and they want to tell me, like maybe you're a vampire, maybe you're immortal. Cool. But even still, right? You would still only live the one time. So even still, like culture is constantly changing, technology is constantly changing. Like there's no reason that you should automatically know how to utilize what's available to you because because it exists and you exist at the same time, right? Like it's not about the wins. It's not about saying I can do this immediately. I can do this instantly. I can just jump into something and it be I don't know, it be perfect, right? It's about being a person who's adaptable, being a person who's flexible and has the ability to recognize that you're just a person. Like and even as you're growing, like you're still enough and you're enough to keep trying for. Like you as an individual and then the work that you're doing, right? If it's something that you're actually connected to and fulfilled by, like it is something worthy of your effort to continue going. And we have to make that something that's like paramount in our pursuit of I almost want to avoid the word excellence, but there was an article years ago called The Mundanity of Excellence. I think Myleik Teal posted it, and it was a great one. It was talking about swimmers and their pursuit of like, you know, Olympic excellence and just kind of how mundane their process and routine was. Like it was really just kind of the same things over and over again with like incremental changes just so when they are ready for the next change they actually grow with it and you know continue going, but the work was so mundane, right? I think we love a win because it feels like something is happening. It feels like some type of validation to the work that we're doing or the person that we are. Maybe we've always wanted to feel like a winner, right? um, People always talk about that prayer, enlarge my territory. Um, and it's just like one interpretation, I think, was, oh, he wanted more territory because he wanted to be seen as a winner among his people. But the other interpretation that I heard was um, he wanted more territory so he had more ability to give. Because the more you have on the edges of your land, the more you can give to other people, right? This is another one of those things where it's like, are you doing this because you want to validate yourself? You want to just feel good because you are here and somebody is saying, good job? Or is your whole character around the work you're doing about what you can give? Reciprocity. Obviously, it's a business, so pay me what you owe me, right? But is it because you are adding value to somebody else and they're adding value to you, right? And that's winning. That's a winning mentality. I'm giving, they're giving, and I'm continuing to grow in the pursuit of these things that I think are my calling, like the thing that I need to put into the world. I think that's pretty much it. So play to win. Don't play not to lose, right? It's okay to play to win. It took me a while to be okay with playing to win because there is so much space like there's so much space between you and the floor when you start actually playing to win. And that can be scary because now you have this gap that you're uncertain of. And when you're showing up and saying like, "Oh, I was just playing," and like you get a win, it's like, "Oh, this is amazing." But if you get a loss, you also don't feel that much of a loss because you weren't really trying anyway, right? So when you're actually playing to win and you lose, it does hurt. But that pain is the lesson. That pain is the thing where it's telling you, like, oh, well, this is what you need to work on. Like, if we avoid pain, we're actually avoiding growth. Like, we're avoiding our opportunities to become just better all around. Right. And you can't avoid it. You actually just kind of have to walk through the fire and, you know, learn to bring some water with you next time. Like, it's all about the lessons in the process, getting better, seeing your competition, realizing you are your competition, right? When you have your values aligned, when you have your values outlined, they can be aligned. First with you. So every day you're in competition with yourself to make sure that you're showing up in your values because you want to. That's your rubric, right? Ugh, I'm in teacher mode. That's your scoreboard. And it's telling you if you're doing the right things or if you're not, or if you're getting closer to center or if you're not, right? So make sure you outline your values so you can align with your values and then play to win. Saying playing to win can be scary. You have to admit you really want it. You have to admit you really want it. You have to admit that you really want it. Like, that declaration of desire, it's kind of hard because, like, then you're telling other people to rate you, right? And if you are a person who doesn't want to be seen, who only wants the validation when they are seen, like, and other people are scary, right? Because sometimes they'll be like, well, why didn't you do this or why didn't you do that? And not in a way where they are being constructive, but because due to their own feelings about themselves, they want to tear you down. Now, can you always tell which one is which? You can't, which is why it makes it hard. You kind of don't know who the people are until they show their cards, right? So when you go out with like a I'm here to win and energy and mentality, all problems are interpersonal problems. I think learning that made a lot of things very clear, right? So our inability to play to win is really our question of our ability to actually show up for ourselves, or if we're going to showcase our inferiority to other people and prove it to ourselves, right? Like, you might know that you have something great to offer the world, but your inner world, your subconscious might have different things that it's looking to validate, right? Sometimes those things are in conflict, the things that you know and the things that subconsciously are held. So if you're like playing to win because you know you can, but subconsciously your body's like, girl, we're gonna die. Um, it's scary. So you're trying not to prove your inner world right. You're trying to rewrite your inner story, your inner narrative, while also battling with the external narratives as well. So it takes a lot of courage to change your mind around these things, to make sure your body feels like it is safe, it's not going to die, like it doesn't have to go into shutdown or meltdown. Like, you can actually do this. You don't need like adrenaline coursing through your body to make it happen, but you have to like ease into the idea in so many different ways that winning is your character, that winning is for you, that being a winner is for you, and it's a practice. And it is not always exciting. It's not always fun. It's sometimes you learning how to use a thing that you didn't know how to use so that you can, this is a very specific conversation, so that you can delegate properly when the time comes to delegate to that next person. But guess what? Because you did that first step, you get to win. It increases the likelihood of winning in the future, right? Like, you're always trying to increase the likelihood of winning. And the question you should be asking yourself today is like, well, how am I feeding the winner? right? Like, how is this action feeding the winner? Is this action feeding the winner? Is this something that's going to like bring me closer to having consistency that's going to go out? People are going to be like, oh, this is great. And then I will get the wins that I need. Or is this feeding something that's going to give me a lesson? Am I learning something along the way? Both things are perfectly valid. Both things are completely right. So I think that's it. I hope you're feeding the winner. I hope everything you do is lovingly done for your future self, right? So that you can say, like, hey, I'm doing this for me in an hour, tomorrow, 5 years from now. Because the more you set up those systems, the more you operate with consistency in those systems. And consistency is showing up. Like, showing up isn't always a 100% thing. Showing up is the dedication to keep coming back and keep learning. Because sometimes you don't have 100% to give. Sometimes you do not have 100% to give. But did you do something at all to continue to build your capacity, your confidence, right? Your capabilities. And confidence is how you replay stories in your mind, right? So you got to catch some stories. You got to be able to say, well, I did this, so I can do that. And sometimes I remember someone said, like, did you learn how to walk? You can do anything. Sometimes it really does have to be like that elementary where it's like, well, I learned that 2 plus 2 makes 4. And maybe before I thought it was 22, right? Like, you have to use everything you can as fuel to grow into the next thing. And that honestly is the thing that makes you a winner long term, not just catching a couple of wins here and there. All right, girl. I'm gonna go start my day. I have calls. I hope you have an amazing day. Um, you're a winner. Like, I know you're a winner. If you watch this, I already know that you are a person who wants to do things differently and well and challenge the original thoughts that they had that made them feel like they couldn't do it or made them feel like they were unworthy. Like, so I'm super glad that you're here and I hope you have an awesome day. So stay intentional and keep flourishing. Have a great day. Bye.